The alarm rings at 6 a.m. Before your feet touch the floor, the weight of debt is already waiting. You reach for your phone, not to check messages, but to calculate exactly how much you still owe today. The credit card statement, the student loan, the car payment, 3 creditors quietly claiming pieces of your entire financial future. You pour your morning coffee and stare at the numbers. Every dollar earned seems to vanish before it truly arrives. This is the invisible prison. No bars, no locks. Just interest rates quietly compounding against everything you work harder, you earn more. Yet somehow the finish line keeps moving further away from where you currently stand. Your colleagues smile at their paychecks. You smile too. But yours is already spoken for, 3 full months in advance. This is the cycle. Earn, pay, borrow, repeat. A hamster wheel built not from laziness, but from a broken financial system. But nobody tells you the truth. Debt is not a character flaw. It is a system, and systems can be dismantled. Somewhere, right now, someone just like you made a single decision that changed everything. They stopped running and started thinking differently. They did not win the lottery. They did not get a raise. They simply learned to see money through completely new eyes. That single shift in perspective is the difference between a life owned by debt and a life of sovereign financial freedom. This is your moment. The moment the treadmill slows. The moment you finally choose to step off and reclaim your future. What you are about to learn is not a quick fix. It is something far more powerful. A complete and total mental reset. By the end, you will understand not just how to escape debt, but how to transform that freedom into lasting generational wealth. To escape debt, one must first understand how debt was designed and precisely why it was built to favor the lender. Financial institutions earn billions not from your purchases, but from the compound interest accruing silently on the balance you carry monthly. The average household carries thousands in credit card debt, paying compound interest that steadily erodes real wealth before it ever forms. Compound interest is the most powerful force in personal finance. When working against you, it silently devours decades of potential finance. The wealthy understand this asymmetry deeply. They do not avoid all debt. They simply ensure every debt works strategically in their favor. The distinction between good debt and bad debt is perhaps the most critical concept in the entire architecture of personal finance freedom. Bad debt finances liabilities, things that lose value, drain your cash flow, and return nothing but relentless monthly financial obligation. Good debt, used with precision, finances assets, investments that appreciate, businesses that generate income, and the financially free did not simply earn more money. They restructured their entire relationship with debt at a fundamental and psychological level. Morgan Housel wrote that wealth is not about intelligence. It is about behavior. The quiet, consistent choices compounding silently. The first behavioral shift. Minimum payments are the lender's preferred strategy, not yours. They extend your debt obligation almost indefinitely. Every dollar paid only as minimum becomes a dollar working for the bank, not for your own financial liberation and independence. High earners go broke. Modest earners build fortunes. The variable is never income alone. It is always the intelligent management of capital efficiency. Extracting maximum value from every single dollar is the foundational principle upon which lasting financial freedom is. The wealthy do not earn and spend. They earn, allocate, and deploy. Every single dollar is assigned a mission before it arrives. This is the zero-based budget. Not a tool of restriction, but a declaration of financial intentionality and total personal monetary sovereignty. Debt creates profound cognitive load. The constant awareness of what you owe suppresses creativity and the mental bandwidth needed for wealth. Behavioral economics confirms financial stress impairs decision-making as significantly as sleep deprivation. ultimately costing individuals far more. The relief of debt freedom is not merely emotional. It is neurological, a measurable reduction in cortisol and a return to genuine clarity. When the mind is freed from the weight of obligation, it begins to see opportunity where it once could only perceive financial survival. Institutions managing trillions employ one simple rule: never allow liabilities to outpace assets. This timeless principle applies. The top 1% do not fear debt. They master it. They deploy leverage with surgical precision while fiercely protecting their net worth. Wealth preservation is not about hoarding. It is about creating financial structures so resilient that setbacks become minor detours. Never, a financial fortress is built brick by brick. Emergency reserves, eliminated consumer debt, diversified income streams, and systematically, the sequence matters profoundly. Financial freedom is not built at random. It follows a precise and logical architecture the wealthy understand in Step 1. Awareness. You cannot change what you cannot measure. A complete audit of every debt, interest rate, and payment. Step 2. Prioritization. Not all debt is equally destructive. High-interest consumer debt destroys wealth fastest and must be. Step 3. Cash flow redirection. Every dollar freed from debt repayment becomes a soldier, reassigned to building assets. The psychological contract with debt must be formally terminated, not negotiated with, not accommodated. Systematically, strategic. This is not deprivation. This is precision. The difference between those who merely survive financially and those who truly thrive is there are two legendary methods for eliminating debt, each built on distinct psychological and mathematical principles, both leading to the very same. The debt avalanche targets the highest interest rate first, mathematically optimal, preserving the maximum amount of money over the entire repayment period. Imagine a mountain of ice melting from its steepest, most dangerous peak first. That is the avalanche. Logical, ruthlessly efficient, the debt snowball targets the smallest balance first, generating powerful psychological wins that sustain the long-term motivation and momentum required. Picture a small snowball rolling downhill, gathering incredible mass and speed with every rotation. Each debt paid in full fuels unstoppable. Research confirms the behavioral reward of eliminating entire accounts often outweighs the marginal mathematical advantage that the avalanche method provides over time. The optimal approach is hybrid. Eliminate one small debt for psychological ignition, then pivot entirely to targeting the highest. Imagine your monthly cash flow as a river. Every outstanding debt is a dam obstructing its natural journey toward the open sea of wealth. Each debt eliminated removes a dam. The river flows faster. With no obstructions remaining, the current rushes powerfully and freely toward assets. Before investing a single dollar, the financially wise build an emergency fund, typically 3 to 6 months of total essential living expenses. This fund is not an investment. It is armor. It prevents a single unexpected expense from forcing you right back into destructive debt. Without an emergency fund, life's inevitable surprises, a medical bill, a car repair, a job change, become devastating debt. With it established, you face uncertainty from a position of total strength. The emergency fund is the very first pillar of a free life. Once consumer debt is eliminated and reserves are established, the flywheel effect begins. A transformative business concept, redefining what a flywheel requires enormous energy to begin moving. But once spinning freely, it sustains its own momentum, requiring far less effort over time. The early months of debt repayment feel like pushing that flywheel, heavy and slow. But each payment grants the wheel irreversible. When debt is fully eliminated, the flywheel spins freely. Cash flow, once consumed by interest, now compounds directly toward. This is the profound mathematics of freedom. The same monthly payment that once serviced debt now builds an investment portfolio of genuine, lasting substance. Consider passive income streams as tributaries joining your primary financial river. Each one adds vital volume, velocity, and resilience to your entire... A business, built correctly, is not merely a job you own. It is a self-sustaining financial ecosystem, generating real compounding. Index funds represent the silent army of wealth building. Diversified, low-cost, and historically proven to outperform most active investments. Real estate, approached strategically, transforms debt into a genuine asset. A mortgage on an income-producing property is leveraged at its highest philosophical level. Money is a tool for time arbitrage, exchanging present-day income for future freedom. The financially free do not simply possess more money. They possess something rarer, unencumbered time to live with depth, purpose, and genuine. Diversification is not merely a financial strategy. It is a philosophy of resilience, ensuring no single failure can ever unravel your entire finance. The wealthy build multiple income streams not from greed, but from wisdom. Dependence on any single source of income is financial fragility. Automation is the architecture of the debt-free life. Automatic savings, automatic investments, systems that build wealth consistent. Willpower is finite. Systems are infinite. The financially free design their lives so that the right behaviors happen automatically. Every habit installed today is a compound interest payment on your future self. A behavioral investment delivering exponential long-term return. This is the full strategic landscape of financial freedom. Not one dramatic moment, but 1,000 small, deliberate, and perfectly compounding. And now, after understanding the systems and the strategy and the psychology, we return to you. The single most important variable. You are not a victim of debt. You never were. You were simply operating without the map. Now, at last, you have it. The moment you make your final debt payment, something profoundly human happens. It is not merely financial. It is deeply and irreversibly the weight you carried, the quiet Sunday dread, the invisible anxiety, lifts completely. And in that space, wealth, as Morgan Housel reminds us, is what you do not see. It is the options you have, not the things you openly own. True wealth is the ability to say no to what diminishes you, and yes, without hesitation, to what genuinely elevates the life you choose. It is waking on a Tuesday morning without an alarm, and choosing how that entire day unfolds, entirely and beautifully on your own terms. It is choosing work because it carries meaning, not because rent is due. That distinction is the entire difference between freedom. You do not need to be a billionaire to be truly wealthy. You need only to own more of your time than your obligations do. The journey from debt to freedom is measured not in dollars alone, but in the rising quality of your daily decisions and your conscious life. Every choice you make from this moment forward either builds the fortress or weakens it. There is absolutely no neutral ground in personal finance. Start today, not next month, not when conditions feel perfect. The best time to begin your transformation was yesterday. Your legacy is not what you leave behind in money. It is the financial wisdom you embody, and the enduring freedom that wisdom creates. Generations after you will benefit from the single decision you make today to finally, definitively, and permanently break free from the cycle of debt. This is your moment. The treadmill stops. You step off. You are no longer running from debt. You are walking deliberately.